Jacklyn suffered internal bleeding so severe it was catastrophic. Her small body was riddled with blunt force injuries to her head, torso and extremities. The autopsy would later reveal that the force used was equivalent to a high-speed car crash. In the quiet stretches of Marion County in Florida, the air is heavy with humidity and the stillness of the rural South. But in May 2022, that stillness was shattered by a level of violence that defies the protective instincts of humanity. This is the story of Jacklyn Schwingel. She was 2 years old, an age defined by discovery and innocence, and she met an end so brutal it left veteran investigators struggling to maintain their composure. The perpetrator was Travis Ray Thompson. He wasn't a stranger lurking in the woods. He was a man entrusted with the safety of a child. On the night of the murder, the domestic environment transitioned from a place of shelter to a chamber of unimaginable trauma. The forensic details of the case paint a harrowing picture of what Jacklyn endured. According to the medical examiner reports, the toddler was subjected to a sustained physical assault. The injuries were not the result of a single tragic lapse in judgment, but a barrage of extensive physical trauma. Jacklyn suffered internal bleeding so severe it was catastrophic. Her small body was riddled with blunt force injuries to her head, torso and extremities. The autopsy would later reveal that the force used was equivalent to a high-speed car crash. When first responders arrived at the scene, they found a child who was unresponsive. Despite the frantic efforts of medical personnel, Jacklyn was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at the hospital. The initial narrative provided by Thompson, the typical deflections of an accidental fall or a sudden medical episode, crumbled almost immediately under the weight of the physical evidence. You do not get lacerations to internal organs and massive cranial hemorrhaging from a tumble off the sofa. As the investigation deepened, the darkness of Thompson's character emerged. This was a man who had unleashed a localised whirlwind of rage upon a victim who weighed barely 3 stone. The journalistic reality of this case is that it highlights a reoccurring systematic failure, the vulnerability of children in homes where violence is a latent ticking clock. In 2024, justice arrived with a cold finality. Travis Ray Thompson was convicted of first-degree murder and aggravated child abuse. The evidence was so overwhelming, the brutality so undeniable, that the jury saw no path to leniency. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. But a life sentence for the killer does little to fill the void left in Marion County. Jacklyn didn't get to grow up, to go to school or to see the world beyond the borders of Florida. She remains a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the capacity for human cruelty. We look into these cases not to dwell on the macabre, but to bear witness to the lives cut short in the shadows.